Just going to share this in a couple different spots. We're going to start here with this live, very, very juicy edition. I've got some breaking news here on the Siteman Softball Podcast, but we're going to get to that. The Conference USSSA schedule for men's. I got it. I've got the final copy of it. We're going to talk about that. We've got 240 bats to talk about. We got a lot of things to discuss here on the show here today. So let me share this in a few different places. I'm going to share in Messenger. I always send it to the Siteman Peer Boys. Make sure everyone's doing there, because God forbid anybody's doing some. We got to make sure that everybody's watching the podcast, right? So sending that there. And I'm also going to type in something really quickly here for you guys on this chat. And that is that we have the chat that comes up here on the show. If you want your name to show up and it does not show up, so that means you're in a Facebook group, you're in Siteman Softball Nation commenting, and you want your name to show up, click this link, which I'm going to share right here, which will give permission so that your name can be used on the comments if you so choose. Okay? Let me see if I think this is the right link. Let me see. Facebook. I think that's it. I think that is the right link. Yeah, so it should be good. Should be the right link. If not, we'll get a different link. We're good to go. But I've got a very juicy episode here today with the official Conference USSSA men's schedule I have. Now, I can't show a graphic, but I'm going to go date by date. And I'll tell you before I do it so you can get your pencil out and be ready to go and write it down. Yes, we got a lot going on here. I just talked actually with Mr. Stroh himself, confirming everything, because I didn't want to say anything on the podcast that was not true or up for interpretation or whatever it was. I want to make sure that I have the real schedule here today on the podcast. We're also going to talk about 240 bats. We're going to talk about all kinds of fun stuff here going on here today on the show. Okay. Now, let me get the schedule up here. Let me get some notes up, and we're going to get ready, as that was kind of the preamble here for episode number 58 of the Siteman Softball Podcast. Okay. Reminders as we get started. At Siteman Softball on Instagram, Siteman Softball Nation on Facebook, SitemanSoftball.com/podcast. That's all places you can check out Siteman Softball content, all the places you can listen to the podcast, watch the podcast, all that kind of cool stuff. You could check that out, SitemanSoftball.com/podcast. We always appreciate this. Live shows, always the most fun. I try to do them 2:30 on Tuesdays Central, if possible. Now, sometimes it's not always possible. Last week, Alicia Bush was here. We did it on Monday because of her schedule. So sometimes there's a guest or extenuating circumstances, the show's not going to be live at 2:30 on Tuesdays, but I'm trying to be consistent as well, okay? Let's see. So we're going to get through talking about a lot of different things here on the show. The schedule is going to be the good one. I'm going to talk about that here in a quick second. Before I go through the Conference USSSA 2023 schedule, I will give you guys a quick heads up here in a minute so you can get your type and your whatever you want to type, your pencil, your marker, whatever you want to do before we talk about it. FYI, do not shoot the messenger on any of this. I had nothing to do with it. I do have the information. Here's what I do have to say. Schedule. I love the schedule. And I'll tell you why as we get into it. I can tell you right now that the idea behind the schedule is quality over quantity. It's not 9,000 trips for people. It's not, 3 times a month for some of the teams. It's a really quality over quantity situation with the schedule. Danny Larson can't wait for the season to start as well, my friend. We're getting close, kind of. Each day is one step closer, right? So anyway, but I do want to say this is the finalized schedule that we're going to go through here in a quick second, okay? Now, a couple shouts, and then we're going to get right into it, all right? So first of all, shout out number 1 I want to throw up here on the screen. I want to thank our sponsor of the Siteman Softball Podcast, our presenting sponsor, which is Siteman Cancer Center, learningwithnationalleaders.com. That's the place you want to go if you want to learn more about cancer awareness, cancer treatment, the latest research. Learningwithnationalleaders.com. There's actually a live virtual event that's free coming up on December 6, 2022. So heads up on that. And thank you, Siteman Cancer Center, for their presenting sponsorship of this episode. Also, want to give a shout out to our good friends over at Pure Sports. The new bats coming out for 2023. We're going to talk about 240 bats coming up. I'm going to give you some opinions and thoughts, and we'll have a little discussion here. You guys can tune in as well, and drop in your comments as we'll talk about that as well. But I do want to give a quick shout out at Pure. 2023 line is looking fire gas. It's going to be great. PureSportsTech.com/Siteman. And then you can use the promo code Siteman to get some chunk of change off of your new bat. Now, here's something pretty cool. If you order off the Pure website, this is pretty cool. There's a new thing called Love It or Leave It. Love it or leave it. And the idea being that you can try out a Pure bat for 30 days. Buy it on the website. Use our discount code. Awesome. You can try out the bat for 30 days. And then if you don't like it for whatever reason, you don't like the weighting, you don't like the color, whatever, you send it back and you get 100% refund 30 days, right? So you get to try it out. And the reason that they do that is they're confident in the product. Pure is confident in the product. I know we are very excited at Siteman Pure, of course, to be swinging Pure in 2023, just like we did in 2022. So thank Pure. Also, little teaser I want to share with you guys. If you saw, this is a teaser. This is a straight up tease. Not nice, but I'm just going to do it anyway. For those of you who saw, Mr. Strojan, our fearless leader, Conference USSSA, posted a kind of graphic last week on his Facebook page. It said Conference Cares. And there was no clarification about what that was, right? And I can't give you a full clarification on it, but here's what I can tell you, that this is going to be something new and a game changer for Conference this year that involves back to the community and also opportunity. It's a very interesting thing. I'm on the committee for it. That's going to be coming this year. And it's going to be something that is in the works right now. Ryan Talon and some other great people are working behind the scenes on it with Conference USSSA. So there's not much to announce on that yet, but that actual new program that's coming this year, and I think it's going to be great. It's going to allow for more community work. It's going to get more involvement with local softball communities when conference events come to town. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff. I can't say too much more, but Conference Cares is something that is coming in 2023. All right. Now, let's do the schedule. Okay. Get your pen and paper out. Get whatever it is. I cannot show the graphic because the graphic's going to be posted probably pretty soon on conferenceussssa.com, Facebook, I'm assuming. But I can graphic. So, and I've gotten permission from Strojan on this. So, full permission to go through this as well. I'm going to go through each event. So write this down. Go for it. I'm not going to go through any rule changes or anything like that. We'll save that for another future edition through the schedule. Okay. Now, this is the men's schedule. The women's is a little bit different. With the women's, there's some different duels over 4th of July weekend. The women are going to be going to Little Rock. The men are going to be going to Kansas City. We'll talk about that coming up. But this is the men's schedule. Okay. And again, quality over quantity is the theme here of this schedule. Okay. All right. Let's get into it. Ready? Here we go. The first event kicks off March 31st through April 2nd. That's March 31st through April 2nd. And that is the Sin City Major, Las Vegas, Nevada. So that's been the kickoff event. And that will continue to be the kickoff event. That is March 31st through April 2nd, Sin City Major, Las Vegas. Okay? Then April 13th through 16th. Remember those dates, April 13th through 16th. That is the Hall of Fame Classic Duel, Vieira, Florida. Okay, so April 13th through 16th. Now, for those that, are new to this or whatever, that is the same as it's been, right? Vegas Duel. Vegas duel. Now it starts to get a little bit different. It's going to be interesting. So 13th through 16th of April, that's the Hall of Fame Classic duel. 2 weeks later, April 27th through 30th, is going to be the Texas Legends, wait for it, duel. So the Texas Legends will be a duel this year in Euless, Texas, April 27th through 30. So if you like duels and you like the month of April, you'll be very happy with that, right? So, and I love that, by the way, because we flew to Texas last year, and you know, that first of all, the fields there are great, and the proximity to the hotel is great, and really, really good time in Texas. And I actually felt the same way. I was there last year. I was like, God, I wish there was 2 tournaments, because we had some tough draws in the first one, played Monster in the first game. We played well, but lost. And I was like, man, I would have liked to have another chance at a tournament there. And I guess, you know, secretly, Conference USSSA was. So that is the Texas Legends duel, April 27th through 30th. Okay, now we skip ahead a couple weeks off. There are some nice breaks built into the schedule, quite frankly. Most of us have families. There's a lot going on, so I think, you know, breaks can be a good thing in a lot of cases. So May 12th through 14th is going to be the Battle at the Beach, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Okay, so May 12th through 14th, Battle at the Beach, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Okay, more weeks. May 26th through 28th, we have a new event. May 26th through 28th is a new event. It is the Jim Beam Classic, Nashville, Tennessee. Very, very cool. Jim Beam Classic, Nashville, Tennessee. That looks to be, I know we'll be set up for that one, but I'm not going to probably be able to go because it's my wife's birthday. So, you know, that's the way that's going to be. But that is going to be a good event. Jim Beam Classic, Nashville, Tennessee. Okay. Then back to back. Okay. That was May 26th, 28th. The next weekend, no rest for the weary in the Midwest, Windy City Major in Carroll Stream, Illinois, June 2nd through 4th. So you got 2 back-to-back Midwesterns there. You've got the May 26th, 28th, Windy City Major, June 2nd through 4th. I know we'll be playing both of those, but that's kind of the little Midwest cluster there, right? The next weekend, going west, Golden State Major, June 9th through 11th, Palm Springs, California. Palm Springs, California, the Golden State Major, June 9th through 11th. Then, June 16th through 18th, it's the Chattahoochee Major, Columbus, Georgia. We know the Vanilla Gorilla, Jason Madden, he'll be prowling around on that one. Columbus, Georgia, Chattahoochee Major, June 16th through 18th, okay? Then, got a couple-week break. And then we go to the end of the month into that 4th of July weekend, and that's the Crown Town Classic, one of our favorites, in Shawnee, Kansas, so Kansas City, June 30th through July 2nd. So 4th of July weekend, that was a great one last year. A lot of fun at that one. I think it's going to be even bigger this year because, again, I think all these events are going to be bigger this year because there's less events. There's less events, and you got to get your points. And I think you're going to say, hey, you know, quality here is the key here. So Crown Town Classic, June 30th through July 2nd. Okay? July 7th through 9th, the next weekend, that's the Smoky Mountain. That's the Smoky Mountain Classic. Maryville, Tennessee, as people like to call it, the Smoky or the Smokies. I don't know why we do that, but that's just, you know, softball lingo. July 7th through 9th, Smoky Mountain Classic, Maryville, Tennessee. Then a couple weeks off, and then there's another duel. And that is the only duel that's on the West Coast. July through 23rd, it's the Christian Dowling duel, Kent, Washington. So that's the West Coast duel in kind of late-ish July there, July 20th through 23rd. Okay? Then, pretty decent break between that and the Pocket City duel, that Indiana, August 10th through 13th. Okay, August 10th through 13th, always a fun one. I'm sure my dad will be joining us once again on that one. That's his trip he likes to go on with us each year. So Evansville, Indiana, August 10th through 13th. And then August 24th through 27th, there's going to be one more event, and that's the Desert Classic. That's going to be in Hemet. Never heard of it. Hemet? We'll go with Hemet, California. August 24th through 27th. Okay? That is the date that I have here for the Desert Classic. Okay? Now, that is all the regular season events. We'll get to the championships here in a second, but that is all the regular season events. So that means that there is, I'm going to count the duels as 2. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Let me do that again. Make sure I'm right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, 17. Forgot that Pocket City was a duel. 17 events to get your hands on, with 4 of those events being duels. Hall of Fame Classic duel, Texas Legends duel, Christian Darling duel, Pocket City duel. Okay? So that's what you're looking at. That's your regular season Conference USSSA schedule. Then you've got the conference championships. Okay? Conference championships. I know there's going to be some rule changes, some cool stuff going on with that. Can't really talk about that too much. But there's going to be some cool stuff that they're going to announce soon about the conference championships. But the conference championships are going to September 15th through 17th in Indianapolis, Indiana. So Conference USSSA championships, September 15th through 17th, Indianapolis, Indiana. And now, can't talk much about the details on this, but I know there's going to be some incentive where it's going to make a lot of sense to go. It's going to make a lot of sense to go for pretty much everybody in conference. So that's going to be a big daddy, Indianapolis, Indiana. So that's going to be September 15th through 17th. And then the only other date I have right now is the Men's Major World Series, which is October 11th through 14th, Vieira, Florida. October 11th through 14th, Major World Series, Vieira, Florida, of course, for that. So that is the rundown, folks. Sin City Hall of Fame Duel, Texas Legends, Battle of the Beach, Jim Beam Classic, Windy City Major, Golden State Major, Chattahoochee Major, Crown Town Classic, Smoky Mountain Classic, Christian Darling Derby Duel, Pocket City Duel, Desert Classic, Conference USSSA Championships, Men's Major World Series. That's what we got. Take a sip of water on that one. Now I know what our schedule is going to look like. We're going to finalize that here in the next little bit of time. We kind of had an idea with this. But yeah, I mean, you know, Matt made the point here, 17 events in with 13 different weekends. Because, wait, hang on. There's 12 different weekends, Matt. Hang on. Matt, I don't know why I trust Matt's math. So 8, it's minus 4. No, you actually had it right. 13 weekends. Good job, Matt. Well done. By the way, Matt, for those that don't know, and if you're extremely bored on Thanksgiving, and that's, I mean, extremely bored on Thanksgiving, Matt's going to be broadcasting. I can't believe I'm even saying this. Yeah, Matt Petros going to be broadcasting a wiffle ball game from his house where they put way too much effort into this thing. There's going to be some Siteman Pair players playing there. They're going to live stream this thing, and I have played over there. It is a complete clown show. And he's going to be broadcasting that. So if you're like, hey, there's nothing on television, I have to watch something, that's going to be perfect for you. That's going to be perfect for you. Watch that live stream. But anyway, 17 events, 13 weekends. And I think Matt was telling me it's his 9th annual Wiffle Ball Classic. We'll call it the Petrov Classic. All right. Hopefully the police Wiffle Ball tournament going on there. Anyway, so that is the Conference USSSA schedule for 2023 for the men's side. I'm sure, you know, they're going to be posting this on the website soon, other places like that, but feel free. I'll have the recordings of this up so you can go back if you want to sit or show your dates or whatever. Feel free to share this with them. If anyone wants to kind of get a jump start on their schedule, you can always share this. If you're on Facebook, you can just go below this, hit share. or on YouTube or whatever, send the link out. Then people can see the schedule, get that little early glimpse of it for next year. But I'm excited about it. I like the idea that, there's not 900 weekends you have to play. I like the idea that it's focusing on big stuff. And I think it's going to be a very, very interesting season to see how this all plays out. All right. Other topic I want to discuss, and this is more piece, the 240 bat stuff that's going on. No other way of saying it, right? The 240 bat stuff. This is my kind of last part of the show, talk about this. And I'd love to hear your opinions on the 240 bat. And I'm going to lay it out here, my thoughts on it. For those that don't know, it's going official. 240 bats in USSSA tournament play next year, okay, which I think is a great thing. But I want to go back here and talk a little bit about it and kind of share where I think some good things are with this, where some missteps have happened, and what's kind of going on with this whole thing, and ultimately my thoughts on it. So first of all, let's go back to the original intentions of this. A lot of people are saying the original intentions when this was first announced a couple years ago was that it was a money grab by USSSA. I disagree with this. I disagree that was a money grab because I've looked at this in detail. It is not a money grab, and I'll tell you why, right? A money grab, the 220 bats were selling great. Do you know what I mean? Like, to force manufacturers into a different technology standard is not a money grab. Do you know what I mean? Like, meaning like of people buying different bats, because people are buying new bats all the time anyway. It was not a money grab situation. The intent and then the execution of it were a little bit different, right? The intention was, okay, let's make the game safer. That's really the intention, like by having a higher compression, and also more standardized, meaning like that it's more rigorous testing, it's more rigorous standard procedure, so that there is more equality of play. Okay, that was the intention. Okay, it was rolled out, and then it was a complete shit show, right? Like, it rolled out, and people were complaining and going nuts, and there were shenanigans, and they said, "What do you mean my 240, the 220 bats were going to be banned?" And I think like after that, a year and a half after that, people went nuts about it, and USSSA changed course and said, "Okay, wait a minute, no, 240 bats, that's the new standard for conference, and the other ones are going to be indefinitely continued, so they're going to be grandfathered in." That's where they went. In my opinion, this was a misstep. This was a mistake, in my opinion, because one, it showed that they made like a very strong announcement, then went back on it, and that's not so good to do that. You know what I mean? Like, it starts to lose a little bit of trust there, and also kind of shows if you complain enough, sometimes things will change course, right? But second was, it really just kind of caused confusion, right? Because if you look forward at this, right, here's why there's chaos. Last year, 240 bats in conference, right? And the year before, 220 bats in non-conference. Manufacturers can only now produce new bats, right? We're talking about can only be produced 240, right? But if you're an E or D or C player, you wouldn't need a 240. Why? Until next year. Why would you get a 240? If you're playing in a bunch of no testing tournaments, you swing the hottest freaking fire stick you possibly can, because there's not a standard of that, right? And then you're going to have a lot of dangerous bats, which we do out there. I remember playing at the Halloween tournament, looking around and saying, I was using like a pure that was passing at like 260, and you're looking around, you're like, oh, that one said about 150, that Easton right there, right? Or whatever it was. And, you had a problem across the board, because now you got conference using the new standard. You've got everybody else using the old standard, which can get, straight up dangerous. And also, it's a loss for manufacturers. You got to look at it from that perspective, a business perspective as well. Manufacturers, they want to make great bats for everybody, and they want to sell them. I know it sounds shocking, right? Can you believe it? They want to make great bats, and they want to sell those bats. That's what every manufacturer wants to do in slow pitch, right? And it kind of handicapped them, because they could only create and sell these 240 bats, right? They couldn't create and sell 220s anymore because there was like Tory, right? So then they changed it now for next year, where all USSSA tournament play is 240. And I think this is going to be while yes, people are going to complain and shout and yell and whatever, and there's always, there's different issues. I think that this is a great move. It should have been done a year before. But now the Band-Aid's kind of ripped off, and it's going to eventually trickle down where it'll be leagues and other things as well. I do think it will make it a more fair, equitable game and a little bit less dangerous as they go through these standards. And how it's not just the standard, it's also how the bats are compliance and testing and things like that are all going to go into it. And the intention here is all to make things better, right? And I'm hoping it goes that way. I'm hoping it goes that way. It's going to be very interesting to see this year how people's games change. Everyone has to adapt their game a little bit, right? The big difference, there's not really a huge difference between a great 240 bat and a great 220 bat until things fail, right? Because the 240 bat's intended to stay above compression, or right around compression. 220 bats that fail and go down to like 160, 170, well, now it's pretty different. If it's a 240 bat passing and a bat that's testing at 150 or 160, that's a pretty big difference. But I think it's going to make a better game for it, and I understand why people get frustrated, that they get a new bat or trade it in. I think a lot of companies are doing pretty cool things about this. I think that they're doing stuff like, Pure, for example, is doing it where days you don't like it, you turn it back. I saw, was it Headbanger or something like that? They'd buy back or trade you back a 220 for 240. I think you're going to see other manufacturers coming up with more incentives, discounts, things like that to try them out. And I think in the long run, it's going to end up being a positive thing. So that's kind of my thoughts on the 220, 240 thing that is going on right now. And feel free to offer yours. Chime on in. Again, it's an opinion, right? I do like a hard line was drawn on this. Sure, it would have been nice to announce a little bit earlier, but hey, I'm glad the decision was made on this, and I think it's going to make it ultimately for a better game. Okay. Yep, that's my thoughts on it. The plug has been changed. The plug has been pulled, and off we go here to 2023. So as we wrap up here a little bit on today's show, this is the Thanksgiving week edition. Hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving. For those here in the United States, turkey and get that family in, do whatever you do for Thanksgiving. Enjoy it because, next thing you know, it's going to be softball season here before you know it, my friends. Big thank you to Siteman Cancer Center, the presenting sponsor for this episode, number 58 of the Siteman Softball Podcast. Again, learningwithnationalleaders.com. Be sure to check that out. Free training and lessons and education on cancer and cancer research. Be sure to check that out. We also actually have some additional sponsors that are going to be coming on the podcast here soon. I'll talk more about that in the upcoming weeks. SitemanSoftball.com/podcast, at Siteman Softball, Instagram, and what else do we have? Siteman Softball Nation. All right, my friends, that's on Facebook. We'll see you next time. Bye.